I was a manager at an escape room, and now it's my turn. The finale. Let me say, from the point of view of a logical being such as myself, I've never had the need for the supernatural. It exists outside the bounds of my comprehension. I've always searched for the reasonable explanation, the drafty window, the wisp of cigarette smoke in the camera lens, the refusal to consider mental illness in the cases of possession. These things make sense to me. I understand their origin. This door though, it wasn't there before, and now it is. It's as simple and as complicated as that. The space between the two windows in my living room has always been occupied by a movie poster from 2000, the one starring Jennifer Lopez as a psychologist. Don't ask me why, I've just always had it there. And now, it's gone. Replaced by a plain black door that has been aged to appear much older than it really is. A door I know very well. The entrance to the Inferno room. Complicating matters is that I live on the 4th floor and that wall is bordering the front of the building. I can look out of both windows and the world outside seems normal. It's just in here that things have changed drastically. And to make it all worse, the door hums. Not like someone who doesn't know the words to a song, oh no. It's more along the lines of the electricity powering your TV screen in an otherwise completely silent room that might not be overly concerning under normal circumstances. These are far from normal, obviously. But the hum is so high-pitched that it almost sounds like distant screams. Hell, maybe that's exactly what it is. All bets are off at this point. I should probably explain more, and I promise I will, once I cover the other findings that occurred earlier today. I need to get it all down because there might not be another chance to tell this story. Before the door, there was Alpine Oddities and Pawn, the shop, the place where the business owner, Nancy, made those purchases. Let's just say it lived up to its name. The store itself is situated in the warehouse district of downtown, in a rather unassuming brick building that used to house a shoe factory. From the outside, it looks just like any other building you've probably driven by a million times without it earning a second glance. Stepping inside though, let me say that even with everything else going on right now, I was surprised and pleased. It called out to my inner history buff, and was much like walking into a well-designed escape room itself. A small bell chimed as the door opened, ushering me into another world. A world I was accustomed to. Antiques haphazardly lined up all around, creating narrow aisles that seemed warm and inviting to me. Though, were you to ever find yourself there, I would not recommend bringing small children along. Taxidermy pieces hung from the walls, a bear head, ducks of all types, even a kitschy jackalope, which is some kind of mythical rabbit with antlers. It was near the old-fashioned cash register and would have made an excellent addition to a retro diner with a 50s theme. See, even with all this other crazy shit, my mind still goes directly to design. It's a blessing and a curse. The man behind the counter greeted me with a disinterested grunt and looked just like someone had decided to dress up a skeleton in vaguely realistic human garb. His skin was thin and yellowed, like parchment. Perched on his nose was a pair of glasses without their earpieces, the kind that pinch directly onto your face. Apologies, the name escapes me at the moment and this hum is so distracting. He wore a sweater of many colours, one that I'd guess was hand knitted. I decided to lead off as straightforward as I could. "Excuse me, I work for Nancy." Without looking up, he waved a hand dismissively in my general direction. "Tell her the shipment was delayed. Next week." "I'm not here to pick up anything," I admitted. "I wanted to ask about some of the purchases she made for the new escape room." "Which one? She owns 7. He finally looked up and his eyes were akin to a vulture circling roadkill. "I don't know you." I gave him my name, holding out my hand. "You misunderstand me. I don't want to know you, nor do I want to shake your hand," he said, busying himself once more. "I assume you can find your own way out?" I dropped my rejected hand. "There are people missing." He chuckled, a sound that was both dry and humourless. It reminded me of shuffling papers. "Look, friend, people go missing all the time, thousands of them. It's none of my concern. Now, I would appreciate it if you would leave." "I'll be back," I said, a promise I knew was empty. Maybe the police would, but not me. The bell chimed a final time as I exited. Driving back to my apartment, I took the long route, knowing it would take me past the escape room I'd begun to think of as my second home. I parked along the street in front of the building, noting the yellow lines of police tape that were its new decorations. I couldn't help but wonder if the press would be good or bad for the business. That wasn't my problem any longer. I'd already sent a message to Nancy that morning, letting her know that I resign from my position as manager. As I sat there absently staring, my phone lit up. The area code was from Arizona, Phoenix to be exact. Shit, the sister. Reluctantly, I answered. "You have to find them." No greeting, no small talk, right to the point. Needless to say, I liked Maggie Carter instantly. "I'm trying," was all I could say. But was I? What have I been doing since the disappearance, other than hiding in my apartment? Very little. Her voice was calm and clear, like still water at dawn. "Do whatever you have to. I have money, quite a lot of it. You got them into this. Now you get them out. I'm flying in tomorrow. Can we meet?" "Of course." "Good," she said. "Give me your address." I did. Just like that, she was gone without a goodbye. I didn't blame her, but I also knew that particular meeting would never happen. I still had my keys to the building, and I'd already decided to return that night. The best laid plans, or so they say. It was mid-afternoon when I got home. It was mid-afternoon when the foundations of my reality suffered a complete pole reversal. It was mid-afternoon when the door disappeared in a place no door should exist. Now, I'm not a big drinker, but I have no problem admitting to you that the first thing I did upon entering my apartment and seeing that fucking door was march to the kitchen, retrieve an almost forgotten bottle of Jim Beam from the top of the cabinet, and take a hearty dose. It burned on the way down, and that was fine with me. Not content with just one, I grabbed a set of 6 shot glasses that sat on top of my refrigerator since last Christmas, and brought them, along with the bottle, into the living room. I averted my eyes from the door as I poured each one full, and lined them up like toy soldiers. "One," I said under my breath, downing the first of my mini army. I approached the door and placed my hand against it, mostly to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Its rough, wooden surface assured me that I was not. It was warm and it throbbed. 2. Another man down. I tried the handle, which, to my relief, didn't budge. Wasn't there some measure of disappointment there as well? Indeed. I'm working on being honest with you, so there's no point in denying it. Privates 3, 4, 5 and 6 went down so much smoother than their predecessors. I grabbed the bottle and revived my little soldiers. Welcome back, Private 7, 8, 9 and 10. I'd say that it was right about then that I noticed the screaming, humming sound coming from Inferno's mysterious door. I placed my ear against it finding the warmth both disgusting and somehow comforting. I held my breath. Nothing. Not at first. Then I heard, distantly, a noise building from a great depth behind the door. It was like paper being shuffled. At first, just a few pieces. Millions, millions, and millions. That laugh. That fucking man's laugh. Something hit the other side of the door. Hard. I fell back, down amongst the scattered corpses of my fallen soldiers. I waited. I counted to 5, covering my eyes. Hey, it worked with Rachel. The door was still there, but thankfully, that crashing sound didn't come again. 11, I stuttered, lifting another shot to my lips. I was definitely beginning to feel the effects of the alcohol, and when my ringtone went off again, I knew I wasn't imagining it. Caller unknown flashed over and over and over and over on the screen. I didn't want to, but I knew I had to answer it. Rachel's familiar voice greeted me with an even more familiar phrase. Abyssus abyssum invoca, abyssus abyssum invoca. Then, without pause, adequatio intellectus arai, adequatio intellectus arai. The line went dead. 12, I muttered to the emptiness. It's been hours since that call, and I've spent them sitting in this chair facing the inferno door. At first, my new friend Jim Bean dulled the sound of the hum somewhat. Now that he's out of my system, it's almost unbearable to listen to, but I must. See, a few hours ago the knocking began. Something is on the other side, waiting for me. Hell invokes hell. I know that to be true, now. I wrote all this down for you, not only as my confession, but as a warning. The hour draws near, and I can feel the second hand choking the minute hand, and the room is hungry. There's one part of the story I neglected to tell you, so here it is. Brady called me this morning before my trip to Alpine. They rushed the DNA results at the lab for the blood they had found on Rachel when she came back. It's me. Of course it was me. How Rachel came to be covered in my blood, I don't know. But like I said, the room is hungry, and I'm its next meal. That's why I knew I'd never return to Alpine, why I'd never meet with Maggie, and why I had to get this last bit down. The rules say the story must be told. I can only hope that my sacrifice will restore the others. Tick, 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 tick. The knife is already sitting beside the empty bottle next to me. I told you that the door requires blood to be opened, right? At midnight, it's my turn to play. It will be an escape, one way or another. Thank you for listening all the way to the end, friends. I really love this story. What do you guys think? Some parts of the story were changed to make the narration flow better, but please check out the original versions found in the links below. Catch you later. You're the best.